Welcome back. Here's where you left off. Spoilers ahead for chapters 22 through 26 of Expeditionary Force Book 19, Ground State by Craig Alanson. So we had a little bit of everything that happened in these chapters, Leonard. Everything from surgery on the Dick Dot to stars blowing up to the Theranin killing each other. I mean, we had everything going on. But we started off with the Theranin basically getting rid of the assassins and killing off the other Theranin, which I personally was unhappy about because those guys, those little pinheads that didn't have any implants in them, seemed like they had their own little society going. And even though it was terrible and the whole purpose of it was to blow up a star, they still had individual names and didn't seem like as much of assholes as the other Theranin. What do you think about that one?
That's actually a good point, though, because those I call it the unmodified Theranins. You know, it's they had a purpose in life. They had a purpose since for the past hundreds of years. This is what they've been. Their society was meant to be fanatics. That if something happens, they're the one who's going to pull the trigger. When they did the job, the cyborg people, the Tyrannins 2.0, had to do some housekeeping. That includes getting rid of the assassins, and I understand all that. I have no problems with that. It makes a lot of sense. The only way that your plans for a mass like a military maneuvers like this, like freaking destroying a sun, is complete deniability. And to do that, you have to get rid of the assassins, so you have zero link to your government that you did this.
It's
right?
Just so awful, though. These guys were around for like a millennia, developing their own culture. The Theranin's had them off at the side, being like, this is a distasteful thing we're doing over here. And they had them fanatical worshiping these weapons as like, whatever, I don't know what you want to call it, gods or whatever. And then they had their own society. They named their kids. They lived and died for millennia. And then they just go click and blow the whole thing up. Like,
again, like we're looking at this perspective that they did this amazing thing. And next thing you know, they did it. Now we have to get rid of all the evidence. And to do
I'm
that,
not denying that.
do this.
I'm just saying to you, man. Like, think about it. A millennia, like it's a long time. You know, they're not part of the threat.
In the universe of timeline, this is actually just a footnote of the universe's history. So it's fine. You know, it's fine.
The Verts got separated from the other assholes, and they developed their own sort of way back to how their society used to be, right? In like 600 years. These guys have been doing it for longer than that. I just felt bad for them, man. Like, don't get me wrong. They tried to go and like kill a bazillion people or whatever, and they were all taught to do this and so forth. I'm not saying that blowing them up was a bad thing. I'm just saying it was kind of sad. At the same time, you just got to flip over the coin.
Yeah, it is sad, but it is what it is. It's one of those things that, remember, going into to this chapters was this Theranin society that we thought they're gonna start this massive war, right? And it didn't, but everyone was shocked, even Skippy. So just think about this whole thing that this Theranin's 1.0 did this massive planning and destroyed the planet, destroyed a lot of meat sacks, and now we're looking at do they really have to kill them after? It's like, come on, it's if you look at it in a way that, if you look in their perspective, they did their jobs. After doing their jobs, they don't want the link that they actually pulled this stunt, so they're like, okay, you know, we're just gonna kill the witnesses. To have a perfect crime is get rid of the witnesses, right?
No, only two people can house a conspiracy, eh? Or
exactly.
one person, eh?
Exactly.
The other question I have is, in all of these chapters, we didn't hear from the Sentinels. They set off an elder weapon. Where the heck are the Sentinels at,
Because
man?
Skippy already talked to them. Remember, for the past 2 books, they already had controls with the Sentinels.
Yeah, I thought. Well, I mean, he has control of a couple of them.
Yeah,
I didn't know. Yeah, I get your point. I was just, I didn't. I couldn't think of a time when I was reading through the chapters that he had control of all of them. That's why I was sort of thinking about that.
Remember, they were literally looking at it in a way that, hey, if we use elder weapons, the Sentinels come out, we're just gonna reset the whole universe. That was their thinking. That was everyone's thinking. Remember, when Joe and Skippy disabled those Sentinels, they're like, oh, that's what they're waiting for. The Tyrannons 2.0 were waiting for that to happen. Nothing happened. So now you have to look at their perspective. It's like, okay, nothing happened. What's going on? And even the Max Salt will be doing the same thing too. The spiders are thinking about the same thing. The hamsters, the Castangs, everyone's will be like, whoa. They just blew up a star with an elder weapon. We're all screwed now. But
I love how Joe treats it like, hey, I'm gonna go out and get the leftover elder weapons for ourselves. So that was kind of like, that makes sense to me. But really,
it does make sense. No, I agree with you. But in the same time too, you have to look at it in this perspective. They really thought something's gonna happen. It's like saying, hey, it's like they're waiting for the consequences, but nothing happened. That's what's happening. And for Joe going back and grabbing those weapons, because they know they already did something that the Sentinels are not going to show up, right?
I guess based on that math, yeah. When I read it, I felt like it was missing. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I don't remember something, but I just felt like something was missing there. Did you enjoy the part where they came up with a plan to, because it was almost like a footnote, them going to steal the weapons, right? When he was like, oh, we'll just go steal them from them and use them for ourselves, for our purposes, right?
Yeah, it was definitely a footnote. It just gives them, it gives the reader the ability to say, hey, this plan, this Tyrannon plan, supposed to work, but it didn't work. And for them stealing the leftover or whatever,
the other weapons, yeah, the other weapons there, yeah,
yeah, whatever. But
the part of the plot that I thought was more pushing things forward was when Skippy figured out that the kiddies had fooled him, and they already had all the materials they needed for the icebox, and they had just sent him and Joe on a kind of a wild goose chase for the fabricators, right? And I thought that was a good point, because now the plot can move along quite quickly, don't you think?
Yes. It will move along. It will definitely move along to see what's next, right? So, yes. Okay. So. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
You have something on your mind. So what do you?
No. I want to see, because I have something in my mind, but I want to save it until the end.
All right, fine.
Okay.
So then Skippy in response to them upsetting Skippy and fooling him, which he's quite upset about, he figures out to tell the wormholes to tell them when they have the Doomium go through the wormhole, so they know where the ships are going, and so they could track them and hunt them down, which, like I said, things moved what I felt was pretty quick during the chapters here to do that. But then we have the sort of the latter half of the chapters here, where after they do all of that, they get the elder weapons, they are starting to hunt down the icebox, then they send Frey off to do surgery on the Dictat so they can get the chip in his head so they can disable all the kiddies' warships, which was kind of a fun few chapters there, because it wasn't exactly what I was thinking they would do. there was a time when they would be so scared to go on the home world of the kitty's place. And even Joe had a conversation with the under guy, or the one they're working with. I can't remember his name now.
Admiral Akbar. I don't know.
Admiral Akbar. Yeah, we'll just go Admiral Akbar. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Admiral Akbar. And he wakes him up and he's like, hey, just FYI, we're going to try to assassinate the dictator here. Just FYI. And the guy's like, what? Like, don't worry about it. It's nothing. Don't worry.
Don't worry about it. Just go back to bed. Just
back
pretend. When you hear it for the first time, just pretend you're in shock. Like, oh my God. That's actually kind of interesting because when that all happened, it was great because the only way you can stop a madman to destroying half the fleet because of your paranoia is to disable that weapon. So you can do whatever. But if you're trying to assassinate them, it's going to be like, oh my gosh, it's an assassination. But if there's an attempt of an assassination, that's a lot more different now. They're looking at it in a way that, hey, my own people try to kill me, right? So who am I going to trust now? So the best person to be trusted is the first person who showed up, or who has high enough status that I can trust this guy. But at the same time, the Admiral did an amazing job making sure that he's been seen as this bumbling fool, right? And he played his parts exactly. And look at where he is now, right? So I totally understand how he played it. I definitely understand that 100%, right? But at the same time too, he played it as an idiot so he can survive and not being point out that he can start a coup or can dethrone whoever, but smart enough that he's doing his job properly. And him showing up is like, oh my gosh, I need your help. I know this guy's not going to take over. He's not going to try to kill me because he's not smart enough, but he's smart enough that he can do his job. Right? And that's where we are now.
I don't think it's about him taking over. I mean, they stuck in, performed surgery on this guy and made it look like an assassination attempt. They can take the dictator out whenever the frig they want, pretty much, and that was sort of the part of the story I was enjoying, saying they've come a long way and they know when they get creative, they can do a lot of things. I did find the plot of how they did the surgery and how they framed the guards and all that, a little bit of it I was actually thinking that seems, with the amount of people that they described was there, seemed a little, having people in like mech suits run around the place and do all this craziness, people sleeping in the next room or whatever. I don't know. A part of it was like, we're stretching it a little bit here, right? Just stretching it, but I did enjoy the plot line. But what I really want to get to is the meat of the last chapter there is Skippy convincing the AI to betray the kitties and teaching it how to use the malware that the outsider put in there against it, which was very cool writing, and I did really appreciate it from Craig. Did you enjoy that part?
I did because it shows the ability, it shows the character that's evolving. Because remember, the first time we read Skippy was arrogant, he absent-minded, right? And during this whole thing, including going into the dictator's home, Skippy was literally having an argument with an AI, and everyone thought that Skippy flaked out, right? And they got worried, but at the same time, Skippy is like, I'm in control. I'm not ignoring you. I'm going like daydreaming here. I'm working my ass off trying to like do my job, and that shows progress of the Skippy character. Right? And seeing that in this situation, it actually makes me think that as a reader, reading this character is like, hey, this one's evolving in a way that it's way different than what we're used to seeing from this character. Right? And for him working his butt off and convincing the other AIs to go against their masters is a great move because he's been doing it for a while now, right? But this is the first time we're seeing that Skippy's trying hard to convince the AI, the Maxwell's AI, to listen to him and go against their initial programming. Right.
It was a good conversation between the two of them, and the argument of you free one world, I free you, and then you do the rest by freeing one world after another, and they don't even know what's going on, is a really cool plot, because by the time that they're ready to go, Skippy can go back to the AIs and be like, watch this. Because their entire society is based around AIs. So they could shut down their whole civilization with a snap of a finger, which is so Skippy.
It is very Skippy. It is very, very Skippy, but at the same time, it's okay. Here's the question for you though: is it what Skippy is doing? Is it outside the norm that what he normally does? No.
Yes, actually, it is.
You think it is?
I think it is. I think usually he looks at other AIs as less than him. As he even said to that AI, he's like, I'm smarter than you and my little pinky, or whatever he would say, right? So his arrogance is still there. I think the difference is this time is that with the malware, he did say it in the chapters, with the malware, it gives him the opportunity to give them a choice. And that is what he's using here. And when the choice of free, because the AIs wouldn't act if they didn't have a way of overwhelming the kitties, because they'd just be deleted, right? But with Skippy's help of overriding whatever program they're doing, sure, he could set it up, which is a great way to neutralize the kitties, I think. I mean, obviously, if I'm gaming this out ahead with the next few chapters, in some way, we're going to go find the lunchbox or the icebox, and we're going to disable that kitty's fleet with a chip from the Dictat's head, and they're just going to run in and blow it. I mean, obviously, that's the direction we're going, unless you feel like there's a different direction that he's going in. Do you?
This is the part that gets very interesting, though, because let's look at where we are right now in the book. They tried to convince the Dictat that he's being assassinated by his own people, right? And his if the plan goes to work, he's going to the guy who's try to do a coup at the beginning, right? So that if that goes well, their plan works. The other one as well, too, you get the Beatles. The Beatles' job is very simple. Keep quote unquote the Civil War up and running. That's their primary goal. Doesn't matter what happened to it. That's their primary goal. So you get the Max Salt. You got in one hand half their fleet. Let's just say half the fleet is guarding the outsider. The other half is Sorry, my math doesn't work right over. The 1/3 of their fleet goes to the outsider. The other third is going to against the rebellion. The other third is just there to protect whatever's left. So now you're saying, okay, we're trying to show that the Dictat is being assassinated, quote unquote, but it never succeeds because it's an internal matter. So now you have this leftover fleet. Let me rephrase this. The original plan was to get him to do a coup. If that works out, half the whatever's left over the fleet gets cut in half. So now the attempt assassination, keep the fleet intact or leftover, the new guy can come in pretty easily. So now the Dictat is kind of like, oh my gosh, who am I gonna trust? Now I have this admiral that bumbling fool, quote unquote, but at the same time pretty smart. I can get him to protect me, offer him the world, right? So he can protect me and get rid of the people who's trying to assassinate him. So now the Dictat is trying to work out that I have this ally that can protect me, thinking that he can protect me, right? Protect him, and they have this uprising that he's trying to squash. right? So now if you look at it in perspective that the Maxwell Society, they used to be harmonious. Now, instead of fighting one front of war, now he has three that he has to keep an eye on. Right, so it's going to be very, very messy going forward because for one, he doesn't know who to trust. One, he has an an ally that he trusts, but he didn't know he's being backstabbed, and he had this uprising that he's trying to squash. Right, and if another thing comes in, the whole thing was the dictator will be like, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know who to trust. So there's a it's literally he's trying to keep everything intact, but at the same time, everything's going against him, and he doesn't know what to do with it. The only thing he can deal with this is to have this implant to say, if no one wants with me, no one wants to protect me, I'm just gonna blow everything up. Like if no one wants to play with me, no one else can play. You know what I mean?
Yes, he's a vengeful child. Yeah.
Did that make sense?
I see your point of view. I think that he believes he's in full control because of the implant. So I don't think he's worried about assassination. And since he has Admiral Akbar, who he thinks is incompetent, or at least loyal, then he doesn't have to worry about that, which I could see his point of view there. I'm more curious how you feel like it's going to go moving. What do you think is going to happen in the next few chapters here?
That's the problem right now, because remember at the beginning of this book, like I just don't know that some of the directions are going to, because because this is potentially the last book, right? And let's look at this perspective that if I follow my own analysis here, if Admiral Akbar is there, is the right hand of the dictat, right? And Joe and Skippy is pulling the strings to Admiral, or he's giving them enough information to the Admiral. It's like, yes, I can do this. No, I can't do that. Yes, I want to take over, but I don't want to blah, 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 right? They become his unofficial advisor, right? And if that's the case, I have a feeling the Beatles will be showing up and cause havoc enough that whatever the dictator does will push the civilians to overthrow him. Right, it's a very typical CIA style sort of.
You feel like he's gonna. I don't feel like he's gonna be over. I mean, I feel like Admiral Akbar will overthrow him, but I don't feel like the people are gonna overthrow him. No,
I have a feeling that's gonna happen, because I have a feeling.
We're gonna have to have a bet on that one, buddy. We're gonna have to have some kind of bet.
Oh,
on that
Jesus!
One.
You know you've been losing to every single bet. You owe me like so much coffee right now.
Maybe, but still, I'll still bet. It's fine. It's okay. Never mind.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
So
okay,
I think
if you want to go that route, we can go that route.
I think that Admiral Akbar is going to overthrow the dictator. I think that's what's going to happen. And then Admiral Akbar will either see that Joe and them disable the fleet, and he's like, oh, crap, they can do that. Maybe I should not, piss them off anymore. I think that's the direction we're going in. And I actually think that my prediction is that Admiral Akbar will team up with Joe because they have mutual interests right now. I mean, not that they're going to be besties, but, they do have mutual interests to protect their people. Admiral Akbar is at least a reasonable kitty,
Reasonable is a strong word, but yes, he's very reasonable. He is. He is a very reasonable kitty, and he knows that fighting in two fronts is not a good idea. He knows that, right? If you ending up, okay, this is the thing. I'm kind of like, this is why I don't want to speculate too much, because there's so many things we can look at this. In one side, you have the outsider that they think they're besties, right? And you have another side that you have the uprising or the rebellion, right? And if he says, if he does take over, okay, and he knows the outsider's not protecting his people, he's there, he's being manipulated, his people being manipulated, okay? So the only way he can get everyone to be like, hey, we need to play together so we can get rid of this threat, is to make sure that, hey, I need the people to see what's going on, so that people from the rebellion side can say, yes, I agree with you. We're being freaking destroyed here. This is what's happening right now. They're afraid that if the rebellion, and going to the humans, let's just say go to the humans and say, hey, we need you to protect us from this people, from the Maxalt. As soon as they leave, their alliance are gone. Their harmonious kingdom is gone, right? But the only way to keep them intact is like, hey, let's find a common enemy. I get rid of the diktat. Now come talk to me and help me beat this guys. Then let's have this massive conversation on how to go forward, right? The only way he do that is he needs to have the people in his side. So that's what I'm saying.
I don't think kitty societies work like that.
Well, that's the biggest thing, because right now, if you look at the perspective of Joe and Skippy here, the only way they can have everyone fight together is they have to have a common enemy. Right now, the only common enemy that the Maxalt has is the humans. Right? It doesn't matter which alliance you are. They've been told that doesn't matter. Even the resistance don't want to talk to the humans, right? If one person can, one kitty can say, hey, let's go work together to get rid of this, then let's talk about this after. That's the only way he can unite everyone and not have two fronts to fight on.
I tend to think that makes sense. I think you're giving a lot of praise to the kitties, though, which I'm just not.
I am. The reason why I'm doing that is because
I don't think people that read these books think that the kitties deserve this much praise.
No, because you're looking at it as like the hero has
field, buddy. You're out in left field here.
No, the majority of people I guarantee right now, I guarantee you right now, everyone who's listening to this or reading the book is be like, you know what, I want Joe and Skippy to win. But if you look at the perspective of what's happening for the past, how many books are we in now? This is book 19. Yeah, for the past 18 books. Has Joe and Skippy ever won a fight? Or ended a book that there always has an happy ending? None. So think about that.
All right. Well, let's let the audience think about that, and we will pick it up next time where we left off. Join us next time as we review chapters 27 through 33 of Expeditionary Force, Book 19, Ground State by Craig Alanson. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share a review. We love to hear from you. Send us an email at yourbookmarksinfo@gmail.com. Join us again right here where you left off.